Thank you for joining us now. I am Frank Omalape. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is prospecting for crude oil in more locations across the north after discovering the commodity in Bauchi and Gombe state. Nnpc stated that it was currently taking coordinated steps for more frontier exploration in the region as part of measures to shore up the country's oil output and reserves. The company said this in a document on frontier exploration services activities of the Nnpc from 2020 to 2022. The document outlined some prospective states where oil was expected to be discovered by the Nnpc, to include Niger, Nasarawa, Sokoto, Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Bauchi and Gombe state. Beyond the north, the Anambra basin was listed as another area where the Nnpc was striving to find more oil. Prospecting is the first stage in discovering oil and gas field under which seismic surveys are carried out. And away from there now, Nigeria's public debt burden may hit 77 trillion naira if the National Assembly approves the request by the President, Muhammadu Buhari, to restructure the Ways and Means Advances. The Ways and Means Advances is a loan facility through which the Central Bank of Nigeria finances the shortfalls in the government's budget. This is as the federal government spent 5.24 trillion servicing debts in 2022. The Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Soniha, disclosed this on Wednesday during the public presentation of the 2023 budget organized by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. Meanwhile, recently, President Muhammadu Buhari transmitted to the National Assembly a request for approval of Ways and Means Advances restructuring to the tune of 23.7 trillion naira. At the plenary on December 21, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila read out Buhari's request to members of the respective chambers. In the request tied to restructuring of Ways and Means Advances, the President wrote, "The Ways and Means Advances by the Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government has been a funding option to the federal government to cater for short-term or emergency finance to fund delayed government expected cash receipt or fiscal deficit." However, the Senate rejected the request by the President to restructure the 23.7 trillion naira Ways and Means Advances. And now the federal government has released about 13.89 billion naira for the payment of pensions of its workers who retired in 2022. The National Pension Commission disclosed this in an advertorial titled, "Federal Government Releases 13.89 billion naira for payment of accrued rights for contributory pension scheme retirees who retired in the year 2022. It stated, the National Pension Commission is pleased to inform all its stakeholders, particularly retirees of the Treasury-funded ministries, departments and agencies who retired in the year 2022, that the federal government has released a sum of 13.89 billion naira for the payment of the accrued pension rights. The accrued pension right represent an employee's benefit for the past years of service after June 2004 when the CPS came into effect. Accordingly, PENCOM is processing remittances into the various retirement savings account of the affected retirees, and the pension fund administrators will notify them in due course. The Director General National Pension Commission, Aisha Dehiru Umaru, had earlier disclosed in her report on the pension industry for 2021 that the federal government paid a total sum of 980.18 billion naira to retirees of Treasury-funded ministries, departments and agencies from the inception of the contributory pension scheme in 2004 to December last year. According to her, the most significant development in the pension industry in 2021 was the successful reduction of outstanding pension liabilities of the federal government under the contributory pension scheme. She said PENCOM obtained presidential approval for 159.46 billion naira to defray some aspect of the outstanding pension liabilities of the federal government under the CPS. Consequently, she said 40.5 billion being the outstanding accrued rights of 6,282 retirees and 2,329 deceased employees was paid during the year. She added that 66.8 billion was remitted into the retirement savings account of 85,743 retirees and 693,229 active employees, being the 2.5% shortfall and the rate of the employer pension contributions as of December 2021. The balance of 52.08 billion was processed in the 2022 financial year, she noted. You're still watching Business Now, coming to you live from our studio. To more stories now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has said it will bring up a regulatory policy framework for the implementation of the cryptocurrency in the country. It disclosed this in a report on Nigeria Payment System Vision 2025. The banking regulator had earlier banned crypto-related transactions in the banking system. The CBN says it will consider the development of a regulatory framework for potential implementation of stablecoins. But while economists faulted the APS Bank's consideration for the stablecoin as ill-timed considering the failure of the e-naira, the bank added that it will also continue its watching brief on initial coin offerings, as well as work with Security Exchange Commission to jointly develop a regulatory framework in the event of adoption of an ICO-based investment solution. Experts have agreed that Nigeria has the potential to earn 7 trillion naira from mini-grids, grid and solar home systems, according to a document on energy security and transition strategies, opportunities and challenges in Nigeria. Nigeria currently has the lowest access to electricity globally, with about 92 million persons out of the current over 200 million lacking access to power, according to Energy Progress, a report 2022 released by the International Energy Agency, United Nations Statistics Division, the World Bank and the World Health Organization. According to the document, 146 million people do not have access to clean cooking in Nigeria, of which 96 million cannot afford clean cooking. Nnpc explained that the 96 million that cannot afford clean cooking represent 66% of the total population that does not have access to clean cooking. With the worldwide pursuit for energy security, Africa must achieve sustainable energy security within the resources available. The association noted, adding that fossil fuels will remain an important part of the overall energy mix. Africa is a continent rich and endowed with natural resources, with almost half of it, 55 countries, known to have proven natural gas reserves. Across the entire continent, natural gas reserves amount to more than 800 trillion cubic feet, with energy firm BP predicting that the production of natural gas in the continent will expand by 80% by 2035. In the meantime, the Center for the Promotion of Public Enterprises has said that it expected an acceleration of reforms in the maritime industry in 2023. Chief Executive Officer of CPPE, Muda Yusuf, said the maritime sector grossly underperformed last year. Muda also explained that there were several instances of cargo diversion in 2022, adding that policies, institutional and structural bottlenecks affected the sector. According to him, since foreign exchange is the currency for international trade, a dysfunction of foreign exchange policy will naturally impact the maritime sector. The former Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said that the seeming parallel import prohibition list introduced by the CB and created several dislocations in international trade transactions. And now Nnpc Terminal has reiterated its commitment to ensuring safety within its terminals and the entire port. Terminal manager Steen Nusdim stated this recently when the firm received the Nigeria Port Authority Platinum Merit Award for its excellent performance in health, safety, and environment-related issues. The HSC Award is an annual event to acknowledge and honor port operators within the Lagos Port Complex that have distinguished themselves in the areas of health, safety, and environmental compliance. In a statement, the terminal explained that it received the highest award, Platinum Merit Award, for its continuous excellent performance at the port. He said the MPT terminals began a transformation journey in 2020, adding that all aspects of the terminal have been transformed from infrastructure, processes, and service delivery to the development of its workforce.